What the?
It's been a while since I did one of these. So, here we go. Season 4 of Monkie Kid. The season starts with a mysterious figure in the underworld retrieving something, until it transitions to MK saving the day from the golden and silver demon by getting rid of the golden serpent shears and other artifacts they had with them, and he takes it with him to Flower Fruit Mountain after battling his trauma again. MK has a chat with Monkey King until he accidentally activates an ink scroll from the underworld, and it ends up trapping Monkey King inside the scroll. Episode 2 begins in a flashback showing the Brotherhood consisting of Monkey King, Macaque, the Demon Bull King, the Yellow Tusk Elephant, the Golden Winged Pang, and the Azure Lion, where they discuss their plans to take over the Celestial Realm, until it flash forwards to the present day, showing MK with the rest of the gang trying to free Monkey King from the scroll. Though they end up getting trapped inside of it instead, except for May and MK who were rescued by Azure. After some explanation on their situation, Azure lets MK and May go inside the scroll to try and rescue Monkey King and their friends. Episode 3 starts inside the scroll with Azure Lion giving them steps to not get caught by the curse of the scroll and how to traverse the environment. With that information, they bump into Mr. Tang, who's currently inside the body of his ancestor, the great monk Tang San Tang. So they accompany him to perform an exorcism, where things go wrong after MK gets a vision of Monkey King and his stone, which eventually leads to Tang breaking out and freeing himself to stop the exorcism himself, and go on the journey they were to rescue their friends. In episode 4, Tang ends up getting kidnapped by a demon, so MK and May decide to find a way to rescue him. The demon who kidnapped Tang turned out to be Pixie in the body of his demon ancestor, Zhukong Lie. Tang manages to knock some sense into Pixie by getting him to make his famous noodles from the present to taste. MK ends up getting another vision after rescuing Tang, and the gang escapes after a close call. Episode 5 starts with the gang thinking on where to go next, until the curse of the scroll finds them. May attempts to defend them but ends up getting her sword shattered in the process. Tang panics and ends up losing the instructions for how to use his magic, and ends up teleporting everyone to random places. May ends up in the court of Kuei Mulong, where she also meets the Dragon of the West, Alia, where Kuei Mulong will drain his and her power to sustain his life force. May ends up defying him by breaking out of her restraints, and with the help of Tang and Alia, they escape. Episode 6. Pixie is teleported to the flowing sand river, where he meets Sandy in his more savage form, where he wrestles with him since that's the only way to beat some sense into him. We cut to MK in the temple of Shifu Subodhi, where he questions him on his origin, and MK starts to have visions of his past, and where Monkey King could be, where he ends up messing with the scroll and ends up getting detected by the curse of the scroll. Back to Sandy and Pixie. Sandy is eventually brought back to his senses after Tang teleports Mo to him because he also got stuck inside the scroll himself. So, episode 7, MK starts talking to the curse of the scroll, who manifests into a monkey form of himself, making him question himself. They fight for a bit, and MK gets a panic attack, and starts turning into his monkey form out of fear, until Monkey King and the rest of the gang find MK through a crack in the scroll. The scroll ends up showing the rest of the crew their worst fears, but they end up powering through it, creating a rune to trap the curse, and MK goes full monkey berserk form and destroys the curse. After that happens, Azure Lion pulls all of them out of the scroll except for Monkey King, making the gang question him. In episode 8, as the gang questions Azure on why he left Monkey King inside the scroll, May goes in for an attack, so Azure releases a bunch of ink magic that releases the Golden Winged Pang and the Yellow Tusk Elephant, who would take down the rest of the gang after they tried to help May. Confused out of his mind, MK asks Azure what is going on, so he explains his motivation and plan, revealing from his perspective, Monkey King betrayed the Brotherhood, along with DBK and Macaque from conquering the Celestial Realm, in order to be a better ruler than the Jade Emperor. Not happy about this news, MK goes berserk with his monkey form and tries to take the scroll from Azure, due to his resistance of not releasing Monkey King, and in the process destroys the scroll, leaving Monkey King trapped inside the scroll of memory. With everything happening, the Brotherhood decides to leave the monkey gang alone. MK flies off to clear his head, and the rest of the gang gets abducted by Shifu Subodhi for some training. Episode 9. Azure fails to convince DBK to rejoin the Brotherhood, so he puts him and Princess Ironfan into the scroll, leaving Redson to warn the Celestial Realm. Back to the monkey crew, who are currently training and improving their skills, with Tang getting better at his powers, Pixie controlling his run, and Sandy and May remaining the same. MK alone in the mountain receives an invitation from Macaque, and Azure with the Brotherhood arrive in the Celestial Realm, awaiting their rematch. Episode 10 begins with Macaque letting MK play a bootleg version of Monkey King's video game for seemingly no reason, until we cut to the Brotherhood in the Celestial Realm winning the fight, leaving Neja alone to face them, until Sandy, May, Tang, and Pixie arrive to help. MK eventually gets frustrated with Macaque's video game, so Macaque explains that the game was just an analogy of what he should do. So MK tags into the Celestial Realm fight, grabs his friends and the Scroll of Memory, and escapes, leaving the Jade Emperor to face Azure. So Azure kills the Jade Emperor, takes his power, and becomes the new Emperor of Heaven, and the episode ends. The special, The Emperor's Wrath, begins with Azure struggling to handle the power of the Jade Emperor, resulting in cracks of reality. Back to the Monkey Gang, MK and Macaque hop onto the Scroll of Memory to find Monkey King, and while doing that, they go through his past and experience some of his mistakes and deepest regrets. So when they found Monkey King, he felt like he didn't deserve his freedom. So MK talks him out of it, and they escape the Scroll of Memory. Back to Azure, he's still having trouble controlling his powers and almost blew up the universe again while dreaming. Back to the gang, with the Monkey King by their side now, they come up with a plan on how they can defeat the Brotherhood together, which is by separating them and getting the Scroll of Memory out of their hand, along with some sparring lessons as well. Until they are interrupted by Azure coming down to take them down to prevent further interruption of his plan. So both teams fight each other for a bit, Azure gaining a giant form in the process until Monkey King gets all the scroll pieces, infuriating Azure to slam him into the ground, until MK stops his hand, later turning into his monkey form, and proceeds to beat up Azure solo, resulting in him losing control of his powers, also resulting in reality falling apart. Peng retreats, Yellow Tusk gives the gang back their weapons after coming to the realization of the situation, and Azure's just trying to hold everything together. So everyone regroups and tries to figure out what to do. So both Monkey King and MK convince Azure that he may not have made the world a better place, but he should find a way to leave it better than he found it. So in order to de-escalate the situation, Azure sacrifices himself so that he can repair the world, resulting in the Jade Emperor's power being released in its raw form. So the gang repairs the seal in Monkey King's cave to prevent further destruction, and Neja holds on to the power until he finds a worthy vessel for it. And the world is saved. Not in the best condition, but in better shape than it was 5 minutes ago. So, with the day saved, the gang have a beach party, but both Monkey King and Macaque know that the job is not finished, as we cut back to the underworld to the mysterious figure returning the Scroll of Memory, and retreating, as the crack appears in the sky, showing that it was just the calm before the storm. And that's the end of Monkey King Season 4. Well, I guess Season 5 recap eventually.